Hi everybody, thanks for checking out this video here on G4G. Today we're taking a look at Paladins-Closed Beta Patch 26. Now, been a fan of the channel for some time. I did a video on Closed Beta Patch 20 or 22. It was several patches ago, and basically the video just kind of complained about the patch the entire video because I really didn't like it. I thought it was kind of garbage. Well, for this one, I feel the exact opposite. I kind of feel like they did everything great in this patch. So new to patch 26 is this daily reward. You log in over consecutive days, and they have to be consecutive. It's not just 7 days of logging in. You have to do it consecutively, so it starts off with gold and then eventually ends up with crystals, and these would pretty much be the first crystals that I ever got. Crystals are the premium currency. They let you buy chests and other things in here. Chests are 50 crystals a piece. So basically after day 6 and 7, you can get a chest if you aren't earning them through leveling up. A name change is a whopping 400. And if you want to compare them for real money, 400, so a name change would be about $8. And 200 crystals for 5. So that would be 4 chests right there. And then you have this massive 8,000 crystals for $100. Not really too sure who would ever buy these 3,500 and 8,000s, but okay. So, new to the patch, finally they did not reset the settings and they did not reset the decks this time around. One of my heroes I was a little bit surprised at. I think it was Grok. My Grok deck seemed to have disappeared. But then again, maybe after the last patch, I never set up one for Grok. I thought I did. But as you can see here, the art style for the heroes has changed drastically. The art style is, I think, considerably like more adult and refined now. It's a little bit, I mean, it's still cartoony, but it's more advanced. It's more aggressive and gritty than it used to be. I mean, overall, I think it's just classier compared to how the game used to look. In terms of the portraits over here, I really like the Ruckus and the Grover and the Pip. The Ying, I think, is my absolute favorite. And the Dragas also, and the Androxus. My least favorite are all in the first row. It's these 4, with Fernando and Sky being my least favorite. Sky does not look like this. This looks like Sky is having a cortisone problem in her face. She's had some really nasty Botox going on here, but when you go here, she looks just fine. This is how Sky looks. I mean, normal faced and everything like that. In the grand scheme of things, relatively pretty. That Sky looks like TF2 Machinima. It looks like the distortion people do to, like, Scout. Like, if they want to make Scout have a smug, retarded face or something like that. And Fernando also. Fernando reminds me of the end of Me, Myself, and Irene, when Jim Carrey takes off the bandage after his chin surgery and he has the butt chin. That's what Fernando looks like to me. And these two I think are the worst. Grok in the game is kind of portrayed as slightly dumb. I think he's portrayed as having a slightly lower IQ than the rest of them. But this Grok is like old and fucking mean. Like, that is a wicked looking Grok over there. I mean, he really looks like he is about ready to kill your entire family and shit on their corpses. I mean, and Barrack too. Barrack is looking, I mean, here Barrack is just looking like a dwarf, you know, like he's got a score to settle, but okay. This Barrack, much like the Grok, again, looks like he's going to kill your entire family and shit on their corpses. but it's the Kness and the Cassie are okay. The Eevee is okay. Buck's interesting. You'll notice icons over their heads now. This is because the game is now classifying these people into roles. Protector, Striker, Sharpshooter, aka Sniper, Blaster, aka AoE, and Fighter. Now, the way that this goes, where is that list? It's in the beta patch notes. There's a couple things I really, really disagree with over here. There's now a free hero rotation because now the heroes have to be purchased. You either get them all by being a founder and getting that little chest thing, or you're going to have to purchase heroes that aren't on a free rotation, similar to Heroes of the Storm. Now, let's take a look at a few things over here. The champions, this is where the icons come from. The champions are now categorized, and there's some of these that I disagree with. Protectors, Barrack, Fernando, Grok. Strikers, Androxus, Eevee, and Sky. Blasters, aka AoEers, Dragas, and Pip. Sharpshooters, Cassie, Canessa, Ying. Fighters, what some people call bruisers, Buck, Grover, Ruckus. I would take Grok out of the protector area and move Grover up, and then I think those two are correct. Strikers and sharpshooters, Sky, she should be there. Androxus should be there. But by their definition of flanking backline positions, dealing large amounts of damage quickly, I would take Eevee out of Strikers and move her in with Ying. Here's my reasoning behind that. Ying, with her confusing diamonds and her clones, can easily get in the back line. She put clones behind people and then switches and teleports there. And Sky can also deal high amounts of damage from range. I mean, she's not quite as sniperish as Cassie and Canessa, but Ying is also more like the back line, and Androxus can fly over things. And his like little flash step over there, little bleach flash step. Ying has that same amount of map control and map presence that Eevee and Androxus do. So I would take the Ying out, move her to Striker, and Sky down to Sharpshooter. I mean, Sky can witch broom behind if she wanted to, but I don't know. I just don't really agree with that. So fighters and protectors I would swap one, and strikers and sharpshooters I would swap, and blasters I would just leave how they are. So the game is just like way more refined and classy now than it used to be, and I think this is the game that Hi-Rez has probably always hoped that this game would be. Siege is now called Siege again. You know, back in the original days, it was Capture and Siege, Just Capture, Payload, and Survival. This is the Death Fog one in Survival. Payload is, you know, like straight out of TF2, attacking team, defending team. And then Siege and Capture and Siege were always about getting to the point, and if you capped the point, either the round was over, or you created the cart, and then you pushed the cart. They've worked these game modes over so much. I mean, if you've been a Paladins player from the beginning, you know how much the game has just drastically changed all over the place. I mean, it seems like it's constantly changing. This time, I feel like the changes are for the better. I still want checkboxes over here, so I can do like first available and then check off Siege and Payload, and whichever one has a spot for me first lets me in. You know, if I like Survival, I could do Payload Survival. Just something a little bit different. I mean, other games had that, like Dirty Bomb. If you do quick match, you can define, you know, whether you want to do the objective one or the push me, pull me one. But a lot of them, you just have modes where you could say, you know, give me the first available for these. And with Battleborn being fully out, with Overhype being fully out now, or Overwatch, I think these guys need to go ahead and do the things that they can to make a great game. Now, the art and everything like that is a step in the right direction. That's something that they need to do. Whether or not these guys can do the whole buy the hero thing, like Heroes of the Storm with the rotation, I don't know if the game can support that. But we'll see. You know, the Founders Pack at $20, if you really like the game, $20 isn't too bad for this. I mean, if you're working, it's a couple lunches or a couple Starbucks in a week. You know, or if you don't get things that expensive in Starbucks, it's 2 weeks worth of Starbucks. And I think it's really worth it to get it, because you're going to ensure that you will always be able to get heroes along the way. The other thing you can do now is set a default deck, which is nice, because if I was to forget to hit page up and set my deck, it's now defaulted to the one that I always want it to be, which is fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it for now, and we will resume at the score screen, and you can see what kind of niceties they did there. Score screen, and you can see what kind of niceties they did there. Alright, so we're back. Taking a look at the score screen. I mean, this is just a pretty and refined score screen now. I mean, it takes a little bit of the Battleborn-ish thing here with player level and character level over there. And then you have the score screen, which is broken up really nicely. I mean, it's just like the game is getting just classier as it goes along. And a couple other things that have changed is that the announcer has changed drastically. It is no longer the voice of the woman who sounds like she does Lillith from the Borderlands series, which might be Laura Bailey. She's gone, and it's replaced with a gentleman who's doing the voiceover now. And the music has changed drastically, too. It's very orchestral and soaring, but at the same time kind of subdued. It's not quite as invigorating or like jivey as it used to be, but at the same time it's just there in the background and subtle, sort of like you know how you don't realize a lot of the music in the newer Batman movies because it just kind of fits the scene. It doesn't stand out, but enhances it, and that's how the music seems to me now in Paladins. And it's just it's a different game now. It's classier than it used to be, and I think these refinements definitely go a long way to making it a more mature game than it used to be. And I think in a lot of ways it's really what the game needed, because you have Overwatch is now fully out. You have Bloodborne. Bloodborne, in a little bit of a way, is bowing down to Overwatch in that the price of Bloodborne has dropped $20. And, you know, Paladins... I think I was saying Bloodborne. Paladins, Battleborn, and Overwatch are all kind of competing in the same market. What Paladins has going for itself is the fact that it's free, and it's free to play, which is good and bad. Of course, there are negative ramifications coming for it to be free to play, you'll get people from other countries that are kind of known for really only playing the free to play games. They kind of can't afford anything else. But you know, it's a similar market that these guys are all going for. Battleborn has got some MOBA elements to it, and you could sort of say that Paladins does because of there being objectives, but there are no buildables and there are no map resources or anything to control. This is just a straight up shooter. And you can listen to the announcer here.
Point has spawned.
He's the game is just, you know, a bit more refined than it used to be, and I think that is definitely something that the game needed to be competitive in this like emerging hero shooter genre. And a lot of the refinements that they made are pretty good. I read in the patch notes that grok beams are a little bit smaller now. And I agree with that. I mean, he has a staff weapon. I don't think his beam should be that big. I think Ying's beam should be a little bit smaller too. Especially with the clones and whatnot. But I think they're making some pretty solid changes here. One of my biggest annoyances for the game since forever has been ruckuses. Like really hyper aggressive ruckuses that just shield up. And I haven't run into that yet. I have run into typical Grovers doing typical Grover things, but not quite as much. And of course, we still have the trash comp of Ying and Sky, which ow, that was a mega turret, I believe. Barrack has taken some refinements along the way, and he's been knocked down a little bit. Ruckus, I'm not too sure if he's quite in the power position that he used to be, and a lot of people didn't like Grovers. Found him to be pretty annoying. I don't really know where he is now, but we're still unfortunately dealing with what I call trash comp is Sky and Ying. Reason why I call that trash comp is because you constantly fuck you. You constantly have no idea where to look. Sky is stealthing.
15 seconds remaining.
No, actually she shot past me, but okay.
10, 9, 8.
You know, Sky makes you be very aware of your surroundings, and you're dealing with Ying clones that you have no idea where they're coming from. The hit sounds have gotten a little bit more subtle, but a little bit too subtle for my taste now. Sometimes it's really hard to tell what's going on when you have hit sounds. It's kind of like somebody tapping on aluminum foil near you. Jesus fucking Christ. The fucking turret, instant. That's a little odd, clipping through the world, but I think the game is just overall getting the refinements it needs to be a respectable game in the hero shooter kind of genre. I mean, I can't necessarily say This game gives you a reason to
Double kill.
play it over, say, you know, Overwatch and Battleborn and everything. But it's getting there, and I mean, it's certainly a game to try out if you're on a budget. I mean, if you... Shield expires just as I fuck... God damn it. This match started off so good. There we go. It does have the 0 price tag attached to it. I gotta get some revenge on this fucking Cassie. And back shot by this turret. God damn it. What now? Okay. Well, anyway. I think the game is definitely getting in a little bit better of a spot. Why is... It's not allowing me to... Oh, I can only choose a deck back there. Yeah.
Seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
I think we got
5,
this now.
4, 3, 2, 1.
That was really strange when I was trying to do deck my loadouts before on payload. It was never allowing me to set one. I thought it was kind of a deck-free mode. That was interesting that I had the ability to do that. But yeah, this little thumpy sound that you get over here is weird. But other than that, I mean, I think everything is just a lot more refined, and the game's just a little bit more mature than it used to be. And I think it definitely warrants a little bit of your attention now. And if you're not really interested in paying for Battleborn or Overwatch, this certainly is something to try. I mean, there's still Paragon on the PS4, which is pretty much a straight-up MOBA, and then eventually there will be Gigantic coming, but Perfect World is the ones who are going to be doing Gigantic along with Motiga, and that could be a really bad thing. So, alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the beta patch 26 changes, and, you know, give Paladins a shot now. Kudos to Hi-Rez for making something a little bit different.